This week, we are focusing on holistic wellness, the things that we can do to get healthy, to stay healthy. As moms, especially working moms, we tend to put our health last. I know we're all guilty of it. And I'm not just talking about working out and eating healthy. I won't say that those are the easy things, but they are easier than taking the time to go to the doctors, get your physicals, go to physical therapy if you're in pain, or even talking to a therapist. And I am the first to raise my hand with this one. I've shared that I have a bad hip. I have a tear in some part of something in there. And I got a cortisone shot a few years ago that was really amazing and it really helped. And I'm probably about a year overdue for another one. It hurts to sit in bleachers, to sit on the couch on family game night and lean over to play a game on the coffee table. And it hurts if I'm sitting down for too long working in front of a computer. But when I'm not doing those things all the time, the pain goes away. I also shared that I started working out with the amazing Becky Bonaventura, and she created this perfect fitness plan for me, which I started in June-ish. But about 2 weeks in, that hip started acting up again, and I couldn't do half of the exercises without being in pain. But did I go to the doctor? No, I didn't. Then our trip to Greece and sitting on all those flights totally killed me, and I couldn't sit down without pain. And I still didn't go to the doctors. I stood at my counter and worked from my counter for 2 weeks until my hip felt better. That is just insane, right? I had all the excuses us moms give to not take care of ourselves. I didn't have time. I was too busy with all the other things in life, taking care of all the other people. And I didn't have time to take care of myself. And it was so easy to just put it on the back burner. But all this time, I still wasn't able to exercise. And those pounds slowly started creeping up again. And standing on that scale and seeing a number that I promised myself I would never see again was a serious wake up call for me. And I finally made the appointment. I got it checked out again, and I'll hopefully be pain free and ready to do squats again in 2 weeks. Fingers crossed. And that brings us to today's quote. If you don't make time for your wellness, you will be forced to make time for your illness. Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life's weekly empowering episode of Monday's Motivational Mindset. And you know what that means. It's time to kickstart your week with a boost of inspiration, positivity, and a full lot of motivation. Working moms, I get it. Mondays can be tough. We all know that. But they're also a chance for a fresh start, a new opportunity, and the perfect day to set the tone for a successful week ahead. I'm Carrie Pat, your host and fellow working mom. Every week, I'll be sharing a motivational quote and we'll break it down, share stories, and uncover the wisdom it holds for our unique journey as working moms. So whether you're getting ready for work, making those school lunches, or just enjoying a quiet moment alone, let's dive into this week's dose of motivation. Let's make this Monday count. Today's quote is, if you don't make time for your wellness, you will be forced to make time for your illness. This is your friendly wake-up call, my friend. As working moms, we juggle a million things. Work, kids, household chores, school events, you name it, we do it. But we have this knack for putting ourselves last on the list thinking, I'll get to it later, or when things calm down, I'll take better care of myself. But let's be real, when has life ever truly calmed down? That mythical later rarely shows up, believe me, because I've been waiting for it for years now. The idea is simple. If you don't actively make space for your wellness today, eventually your body will make the decision for you. And trust me, that version is a lot more chaotic, painful, and way harder to navigate. So let's dig into why it's so important, especially for us working moms. When we think about wellness, what comes to mind? Maybe you picture a yoga retreat or a spa day or paying for those pre-made delivery meal plans. But wellness doesn't have to be anything extravagant or really that time-consuming. It's about those small, intentional decisions that we make every day to care for our minds, care for our bodies, and really care for our souls. Wellness is preventive maintenance for your body. It's the difference between being able to keep up with your kids at the park and feeling exhausted after a day of work. It's about staying ahead of burnout rather than trying to climb out of that deep, dark hole once you're already in it. It's making sure that when life throws you a curveball, because it always does, you're mentally prepared and, more importantly, physically strong enough to catch it. But here's the kicker. Wellness is a non-negotiable. When we talk about our priorities in the week, that needs to be one of them. Whether we prioritize it or not, our bodies and our minds still need care. If we don't give them the attention they deserve now, they're going to demand it later in a form of exhaustion, burnout, or even illness. And cold and flu season is upon us. If your body's run down, you're not going to have the defenses you need to fight it. And that cold that should have lasted 1 to 2 days is now going to be 3 or 4 days. And that flu that may have laid you out for a day or two will have you in bed for over a week. And what mom has time for that? I know I don't. When we don't prioritize our health, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, we end up paying the price at some point. Maybe it starts with skipping a few meals because you're way too busy. I never had that problem. It's more of a eat too much or not getting enough sleep because you're staying up late to finish a work project. Either way, it might feel like it's no big deal at first, but over time, these little things, they really add up. And suddenly, you're always feeling tired and run down. You're irritable. You're not fully present, especially with the little ones that you love the most. The constant exhaustion ends up becoming your norm. And before you know it, you're heading to the doctor's office, or you're so overwhelmed that you feel like you're running on fumes. Does this sound familiar to anyone? And if you wait too long to care for it, that's where anxiety and depression might start creeping in. And I get it, trust me. I know it's hard to squeeze in time for yourself in an already packed out schedule. But what we often forget is that taking care of ourselves is taking care of our families. When we're not well, everything suffers. We can't be the best mom, the best partner, the best employee, or entrepreneur that we strive to be if we're constantly running on empty. And at the end of the day, no one benefits from a burnt out, overworked mom. Here's something we don't say enough. Wellness is a form of self-respect. Think about that. When we carve out time to move our bodies, fuel ourselves with nutritious food, take breaks, or practice mindfulness, we're sending a message to ourselves that we are worth it, that our health matters. Imagine if we treated our wellness like we do an important work project or a school event for your kids. You wouldn't skip a meeting with your boss, right? And you'd never miss a kid's big recital. So why do we easily skip out on our own health? And again, I am so guilty of this one. I'm going to listen to this episode myself and listen to my own words. And I'm not saying you need to spend hours at the gym or to meditate for 30 minutes a day to be well. It's all about those small, manageable changes that can make that big difference over time. Here's my challenge for you this week, mamas. Schedule in 15 minutes of wellness time every day. And I mean, actually put it on your calendar, just like you would a meeting or an appointment. And this could be anything that makes you feel good. Taking a walk, even if it's walking your dog at night, reading a book, prepping a healthy lunch for the next day, or simply just sitting in silence with your thoughts. Sometimes that is just amazing. And make sure it's not something that's too overwhelming. The important thing here is that you're intentionally carving out time for yourself. Because remember, if you don't make time for your wellness now, life will eventually force you to, and that's a whole lot messier. I would rather take the 15 minutes a day doing something that I love and lights me up than spending it sick in bed. So mama, take a deep breath and give yourself permission to put you on your priority list because you deserve it. Your wellness is not a luxury. It's a necessity. And I promise you, when you start taking care of yourself, everything else and everyone else in your life will really benefit too. I'd love to hear what you're doing this week to take care of you. Head on over to our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms, and tell me all about it. If you don't already follow the show, take a second and hit that follow button so you never miss another episode. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your Instagram stories and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life or come on over and hang out in our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Wife Career Life with Carrie Pat.